I am so excited to announce that we have a second cube coming to MTGO. Today, I'll introduce you to the environment that I call Cartographia. Welcome to Cultic Cube, where we cube religiously. We make you better at cube and make your cube better. Welcome, intrepid explorer, to CubeCon Cartographia, a map maker's paradise. It is up to you to chart a course through a land marked by unstable and shifting terrain, powerful enchantments, arcane artifacts, and a whole menagerie of ferocious creatures. This cube will be available on Magic the Gathering Online, October 19th through 25th, 2022. Cartographia is a cube that encourages you to find novel ways of plotting out decks whose pieces work in harmony. The format is defined first and foremost by its deep access to lands. We stray from the path of cube tradition by breaking singleton for fetch lands. Mana fixing is very good. Moreover, we have many lands that do things, from destroying permanents, to making tokens, to buying back your graveyard. This abundance of lands allows more of your draft picks to find their way into your main deck, instead of languishing in the sideboard. A second hallmark of the cube is its number of planeswalkers. 0. Here you construct your own walker-like value machines through the interaction of cards in your deck. Resilient engines that produce turn-over-turn value while dodging creature removal are available, and you'll find these in categories such as enchantments, artifacts, and, well, lands. Enchantments run wild across the land of Cartographia, and the terrain fairly hums with magical energy. Enchantress is a deck that you can absolutely explore here. The deck is based in Bant colors, but there are deep options for enchantments across the color pie. The strategy can be tuned for explosive, all-in power that suits up enchantment creatures and that leverages inexpensive enchantments that affect the board in order to continue beating down. Alternatively, the enchantment deck can play a long game, controlling the board and assembling overwhelming value through the interaction of its non-creature enchantments. Magic runs deep in this world. Sweep away the opponent's creatures and allow your enchantments to work in concert to compose a fresh army. If cold steel and coiled springs are more your speed, artifacts abound in Cartographia. Artifacts offer one of the routes to an aggressive strategy, as prototypical red deck wins decks and their cousins aren't supported in quite the same way here as in traditional cubes. Our format is rife with inexpensive colorless creatures. Moreover, red and white both offer creatures that interact with artifacts or that improve when surrounded by them. Blue boasts tools to animate otherwise lifeless lumps of ore. Black, red, and white support self-sacrificial aristocrat strategies that can be built with artifact sacrifice in mind. Many hopeful archaeologists visit Cartographia in search of rather more ostentatious artifacts than ginger brutes and Bomat couriers. Ever more exciting discoveries reward careful excavation, and the patient archaeologist may unearth monumental treasures. If we are to support archetypes whose tools range across the colors, we need access to good mana. This imperative motivates our inclusion of a generous number of fixing lands. If you want your mana base to be reliable, you should be able to realize that dream, though you'll still have to make difficult choices about when to take the land or the spell. In this realm, while decks may be colorful, individual cards tend to be single-colored. Gold cards are in comparatively meager supply here, and they serve specific roles rather than being generically powerful versions of replaceable effects. These multicolored cards often act as bridges between various archetypes. You can play a 2 or 3 color deck and prioritize having excellent mana. Such an approach unlocks, for instance, a classic zoo archetype defined by aggressive and overstated creatures, often in Naya or Jund colors. Zoo is an aggressive strategy that is built on a flexible mana base. Your menagerie may, after all, prove fragile if your deck struggles to find its colored mana sources on time. Of course, you can take a greedier approach to drafting lands by snapping off a whole bevy of fixing in order to support a rainbow deck. Your payoffs won't lie so much in cube staple gold spells, but rather in the best of what the single colors have to offer, as well as in a complement of color-intensive powerhouses, such as the Kami War and Omnath Locus of Creation. Moreover, a deck with an immoderate mana base may capitalize on domain strategies. Lands not only allow you to cast your spells, but they can also win games on their own. Dark Depths combo is available, as is Field of the Dead, though no Golos. There are creature lands aplenty, which are awesome, resilient threats on their own, and which can be improved with tools such as Tatiova, Steward of Tides, and Sylvan Advocate. Many more creatures exist that love lands, such as Greensleeve's Morrow Sorcerer, Titania, Protector of Argoth, and the Gitrog monster. Lands in general, and lands that put themselves in the graveyard, are beloved of innumerable spells in Cartographia, such as those that rely on mechanics, such as Landfall, Domain, Delve, Revolt, and Delirium. It has been an enormous pleasure developing and playtesting this cube with many friends who are brilliant cube designers. The cube was born of late-night brainstorming with CubeCon colleagues Gwen Dekker of Cube Cobra and Jonathan Brostoff, aka Team J-Bro. I was honored to be joined later by friends who devoted many hours to intensive conversation about the cube. Elliott Sniffygull, Derek Gallen, Brandon Harrison, Dan Schneider, and David White. Soon thereafter, we began playing in earnest, aided enormously by the deep insights of Paul Baranay, Zach Barash, Chill MTG, Richard Dietz, Wilson Fisher, Usman Jamil, JuliusF, Parker LaMascus, David McDarby, Brad Vanhook, and Jon Westoff. I am deeply thankful to the wonderful cadre that has developed a hazy topography into a dynamic landscape. I can't wait to see what exciting new coordinates you chart as you explore Cartographia. If I don't see you at CubeCon, be sure to tweet your sweet builds to me. Here's to dizzying vistas, sublime prospects, and the magic of Cube Draft.